What's up, everybody? Coach Mike here. Today we're going to go over a more in-depth tutorial on performing the barbell hip thrust. Now, a lot of people want glutes, whether it's for aesthetics or for like athletic performance, because the glutes are the driver of acceleration. This is the ultimate glute builder, right? This is going to work it in the shortened position, which just means you're going to get most of the work done by squeezing the glutes. A squat, on the other hand, you're going to get most of your glute work by stretching them, and it's going to work the glutes in the lengthened position. So we're going to go over this exercise and show you how to do it the proper way. So first we're going to make sure we use a squat sponge or a hip thrust pad, whatever type of model you have. But essentially it's a foam pad. It's going to protect our hip bones so you don't get bruised up, because anything past around 100 pounds starts really digging into the hip bones. So we're going to set this pad here, and we're going to try to keep the opening facing away from us. That way, when we're hip thrusting, this doesn't fall through the hole and drop all that weight onto our hips. All right, so that's step number one. We're going to take this bench. We're going to make sure it's a nice sturdy bench, preferably without cuts in it, and like, a segmented bench like that. A nice flat bench, or you can use a hip thrust designated bench if your gym has that. And we're going to take a seat. And I'm going to try to get my butt as close as possible to this bench, so my shoulder blades are kind of on the bench. And then I'm going to roll this bar towards my hips. And so I'm going to look in this opening. That's why sometimes it's good to have a pad that isn't completely closed and taped, because you can see the center, and I can look at the knurling here and realize that I'm good. The bar's not going to tip left or right. So I'm going to position that opening away from my body. Now, depending on your body type, right? If you are slightly overweight, you may need to put something underneath these plates, because you might not fit under this bar. All right, and that's totally fine. You're just going to shorten the range of motion by an inch or two, which is a separate exercise, but it's great, right? It's called it's like a block hip thrust, which are also programmed in the app. So next step, I'm going to try to pull my shins in using my hands, right, until I can get into a position where my knees are at like a 90-degree bend over here. What this is going to do is ensure that when I hip thrust, I'm not using too much hamstrings. I'm actually isolating the glutes. So I'm going to use my elbows at first to kind of like wiggle just to get my shoulder blades onto the bench. Once my shoulder blades are here, I don't need my hands anymore. You'll see people hip thrust like this, and their shoulders are all being stressed too much. It's unneeded. Once my shoulder blades are on, I don't need any hands. Then I'm going to put my hands on the barbell a little bit wide, put some forward pressure on it, and you could go 5 fingers over the top. And I'm going to posteriorly tilt my pelvis, which means I'm going to scoop my pelvis under. All right. With that being said, I'm going to drive through my heels. Right. I'm not blowing my stomach out like this. Drive through my heels. I finish in a posterior pelvic tilt, so the glutes are squeezed, my abs are tight, and my chin is driven down. This is to ensure that we're not using too much lower back and that we're using our glutes actually. Now, if you have neck issues, can you hip thrust with your head up like this? Absolutely. You really want to make sure that you're targeting the glutes. And you also notice I have my heels are directly below my knees, okay? You could go feet flat. I like to go with my toes up. So you'll see I'll go all the way down. I keep my shoulder blades on the bench. I can rest my glutes on the bottom if I want to, and then I flip the pelvis and my eyes are staring forward. If your feet are too far forward like this, it's not wrong, it's just going to be a hamstring dominant hip thrust, and you'll really start feeling it in your hamstrings. If they're too close, like here, you'll notice you're hitting all quads, and it's a glute exercise. It's okay to hit quads, but let's save the quads for actual quad exercises, all right? So one more time. We're here at the bottom, right? We roll that bar in, we make sure that pad's facing out. Use your elbows to climb up. Once I'm up, elbows are completely unnecessary. Then we drive down. I keep my vision forward, flip the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, driving through the heels, and just making sure my core is tight. When I'm done, I'm going to put my feet straight. I'm going to roll this bar, and I can either pull my feet out if you got good hip mobility, or you can just open your hips up like this and roll the bar out of the way. All right, so I hope that helps everybody, and catch you guys soon.